Hi, my name is Melissa Fish. I'm a corporate and mergers and acquisitions attorney and owner of Fish Legal Counsel. Today, I want to talk to you guys about annual corporate consents. What are they? What goes in them? What does not go in them? So first of all, there's always a lot of confusion around what a corporate consent is. People use different terms interchangeably. For example, meeting minutes versus consents. What is the difference? A lot of clients understand what minutes are. They've heard of them, it's common jargon. It basically means a corporation holds a meeting either for the shareholder or the board, and the secretary takes minutes. You can authorize different actions throughout the year, and it could be a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting. Now, consents are something that accomplishes the same thing that minutes do, right? So if you are a small company, if you have a set number of shareholders and board members, and you can easily get them all on the same page to ratify past actions or authorize certain actions, you can do the same thing that you would do in a meeting by what's called unanimous written consent. The California Corporate Code allows for either meeting minutes or consents to accomplish this yearly housekeeping, if you will. So we'll stick to corporate consents. That's generally what I advise my clients on, just because it's simple, it's clean, and most of the small businesses I work with are able to accomplish things by unanimous written consent of all the parties. So what goes into your corporate consents? Like I said, it's annual housekeeping, right? So every year you need to appoint your board of directors. This happens via the shareholders' consents. Every year you want to elect your officers, even if it's the same officers that you had last year. Technically, as part of a corporation, being separate from you as an individual, you should be annually electing officers, appointing directors. The officers are elected by the board members. That's why you need a shareholder consent and a board consent. You also do things like ratifying past actions that the corporation has taken over the year, and also authorizing any amendment to the bylaws or if you entered into a shareholder agreement. What does a corporate consent not do? So these are the things you don't want to put in your corporate consents. You don't want to have terms that belong in a shareholder agreement, like if certain shareholders have veto rights, or if you're going to have drag along or tag along rights. Those things belong in their own separate agreement, or anything that would go into bylaws. The reason that you don't draft these types of provisions into your consents is because you want to avoid redundancy, inconsistencies. It can just lead to something really messy. Sometimes you do want to authorize any amendments that have happened in a shareholder agreement, for example, but you don't want to repeat all those terms and provisions within the consent as a general rule of thumb. So remember, corporate consents are your annual housekeeping. Keep them clean, keep them consistent. This is one of the best ways that you can be ready for a deal, by keeping your corporate governance in order.